Welcome back to another Buy Low segment where we find frustrated managers and offer them a Christmas gift disguised as a trade, but in the long run, the gift really is for us. This week, we've got 10 players whose value is lower than it should be. Some are coming back from injury, some are stuck on bad teams, and some just forgot how to shoot for a few weeks. All of them are Buy Low candidates if you know where to look. Here's who we are targeting this week.
Pretty nice. Yeah. I mean, the big money guys are playing for the guys at the end of the bench just on minimum deals. That's big money for them. Look at Hero.
Will he play? Won't he play? It's like watching the plot of a Christmas rom-com, except the love interest is your fantasy lineup and the airport scene keeps getting delayed. Tyler Hero has played 6 games this season. 6. He missed the first 17 recovering from an off-season ankle injury, came back, looked incredible, 23.2 points per game on 50% shooting and 40% from 3. Then he hurt his toe, played 1 game, went 0 for 6 from deep, and hasn't played since. Here's what he actually said about the injury this week. It hasn't really gotten better. I tried to warm up and I just wasn't feeling right. I probably shouldn't have practiced during the break. That kind of just sparked things back up. So to recap, the man hurt himself by practicing. This is peak Tyler Hero energy. But Miami will be fighting for a home court advantage in the playoffs, and it's in their best interest to get Hero healthy and on the court. When he plays, he's putting up top 30 value, the same rank he finished at last season. The catch? He's played one of his last 5 games. The buy low window is wide open because his manager is exhausted. They've been waiting since October. They've watched Simone Fontecchio start games, they're tired, offered them stability, someone currently healthy, and you might steal a 3rd-round talent for a mid-round price.
Over to where the ball is, and a quick pass across the court is getting guys open for looks on the Hornets' end of the floor. Trae Young with some burst.
If we could create the perfect buy low formula, it would be something like this. Underperforming star player gets hurt, returns, and has a subpar game in their first game back. That's Trae Young. He sprained his MCL on October 29th, 7 minutes into a game against Brooklyn, and missed the next 22 games. The reigning assist champion, a guy who finished 14th overall last season, has been rotting on someone's IR slot for nearly 2 months. He finally returned against Charlotte, played 20 minutes, and put up 8 points on 3 of 8 shooting with 10 assists. Not exactly the amazing return his manager must have envisioned. Through 6 games this season, Trae is ranked 165th. His 3-point shooting has cratered, 16% from deep compared to 34% last season. And Atlanta looks like a different team now. Jalen Johnson became the face of the franchise in Trae's absence, and the Hawks went 13-9 without him. There's legit trade speculation swirling. Young was recently named the player most likely to be traded by Atlanta reporters. But this is still a 4-time All-Star who led the league with 11.6 assists per game last season. The shooting will normalize. Atlanta will figure out how to play him and Jalen Johnson together. There's too much talent not to. His manager has watched the Hawks win without him. They've read the trade rumors. They're questioning everything. Slide into those DMs with a reasonable offer and see what happens. Trae hasn't traded for guys like Julius Randle, Jaylen Brown, and Amen Thompson.
Now, that just gives Big Fella a lot more energy in that second half.
Miles Turner.
You have Miles Turner on your team for blocks, threes, and Lego Rex for your kids. Over the past 2 weeks, he has averaged less than 1 block per game. His last 2 games, 0 blocks combined. We know blocks are a volatile stat, but when a player's best category has been cut in half, it has a big impact on their overall value. So, here's the sitch. Turner signed a 4-year, $109 million deal with Milwaukee this summer to replace Brook Lopez. He is filling the same stretch 5 role, stand at the 3-point line, space the floor for Giannis, protect the rim. Career high in threes? Check. But the blocks haven't traveled to Milwaukee with him. His rebounding numbers are also down, but let's be honest. You never drafted Turner for rebounds. You drafted him because he's one of the only centers in the league who won't tank your threes or your free throw percentage while still giving you elite shot blocking. That's the profile. And right now, the shot blocking is not elite. The result, Turner has fallen from 57th overall last season to 110th this year. Over the last 14 days, he's ranked to 15th. That's waiver wire territory for a guy who was drafted as a top 60 player. This isn't the Tyrese Halliburton gets me good shots Turner from last season, but he's still averaging 1.5 blocks for the year. And when Giannis returns from his calf injury, the spacing gets better, the rim protection scheme tightens up, and Turner's block numbers should normalize. The buy window is open. His owner drafted him for blocks and threes, and right now he's getting half of that. That's panic material. Be the calm in their storm. Miles has recently been traded in Yahoo leagues for Austin Thompson and in another league for Emmanuel Quickley.
Ingram. That's Quickley. And that's good.
The Raptors are 17-11 and sitting in third in the East. One of the surprise stories of this season. Quickley has been a big part of that, averaging 16.2 points and 6.3 assists while shooting 37% from three. He's ranked 98th overall, which is actually an improvement from where he finished last year. So why is he a buy low? Because the last 2 weeks have been rough. He's dropped to 179th over that stretch, and the last 7 days haven't been any better. 154th, shooting 39% from the field and 23 from deep. He's also missed a few games due to illness, but this isn't an ankle sprain or a wrist injury, it's a bug. He'll be fine soon. The only incurable condition in Toronto is being a die-hard Raptors fan and also questioning why Kawhi left. Sorry guys. This is a short window. Quickley is playing well on a team that's playing well. That recent dip is noise, not signal. If you can buy him while his owner is frustrated by the last 2 weeks, you're getting a starting point guard on a playoff team at a discount.
Hawks have a Kongwu, Alexander Walker, Krejci, Kennard, and Newell. And up and in for De'Aaron Fox.
Fox just made the NBA Cup All-Tournament team. He averaged 22.3 points, 7.7 assists, and 2 steals during the Spurs run. That man was cooking. Then he played Washington and scored 6 points on 1 of 8 shooting. Followed up with 8 points against Atlanta. Sometimes basketball just makes no sense. Fox finished 31st overall last season. He's sitting at 41st right now, which is still solid, but over the last 2 weeks he's dropped to 1 of 5. And the last 7 days have been ugly at 126. He's averaging 12 points on 38% shooting in that stretch. This is as small as buy low windows get. Fox isn't broken. He just had 2 bad games after a tournament run where he was one of the best players on the floor. The Spurs are building something real around him and Victor Wembanyama, and Fox is the engine that makes it go. If his owner is overreacting to a bad week after watching him dominate the NBA Cup, slide in with that offer. You're not buying a slumping player. You're buying a 2-game blip from a guy who was all tournament caliber 5 days ago.
Suns finally able to secure it. Up the floor now to Booker. Booker, quick pull-up.
Book is shooting 30.4% from the 3 this season. For a guy who's been one of the most reliable scorers in the league, that number looks like a typo. Book finished 22nd overall last season. Right now, he's 40th, and over the last 2 weeks, he's dropped to 78th. Though he's only played 2 games in that stretch. He had a brutal run in late November where he shot below 40% from the field in 4 straight games. For someone you drafted expecting top 25 value, that's been hard to watch. But here's the thing, he is trending up. He shot 45% or better from the field in 3 of his last 4 games. The Suns are 15-12 and playing better than expected. And Jalen Green is expected back in a few weeks. Another scorer for defenses to worry about, which makes everything easier for Devin Booker. His career 3-point percentage is 35.2%. He's not a 30% shooter. He's a 35% shooter, having a rough couple of months. Shooters shoot out of slumps. That's just what they do. If you can buy Booker right now from someone who's been watching him brick after brick in 3 since October, you're getting a first-round talent at a second-round price. The window won't be open much longer.
And JB just picked up his 7th assist, so back-to-back games with 8 boards and 7 dimes. Adebayo.
Bam Adebayo, who recently said the Heat need a reset. When your franchise cornerstone is publicly calling for a fresh start, you know things aren't going well in Miami. Bam finished 59th overall last season. Right now, he's also 59th on the year, but that number is hiding a rough stretch. Over the last 2 weeks, he's dropped to 145th, and the last 7 days haven't been any better at 135th. He's shooting 43.6% from the field and 56.3% from the free throw line from that span. For a guy you drafted expecting reliable efficiency, that's hard to stomach. He had an 8-point game against the Nets this week, 4 of 13 from the field, 0 of 2 from the line. He grabbed 17 rebounds and 3 blocks, but that scoring line is brutal. But this is still Bam Adebayo. 2-time All-Star, all-defensive team regular, the engine that makes Miami run. The Heat are 15-3 and need him firing on all cylinders if they're making a playoff push. The shooting will come back. It always does with players this talented. His owner has been watching the efficiency crater and wondering what's wrong. That doubt is your opportunity.
Assist to Jokic. You saw Jamal Mosley now in his 5th season. We're going to lay up at the other end.
Bane got fined $35,000 for throwing a ball at OG Anunoby's head. That's the kind of season it's been in Orlando. Bane was traded from Memphis to the Magic this offseason, and the adjustment has been rough. He's a career 41% three-point shooter, currently sitting at 34% from deep. He's shooting 44% from the field as he figures out how to coexist with Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. He finished 20th overall last season. Right now, he's 76, and over the last week, he's dipped to 130th. This is a classic new team adjustment. Bane went from being a second option in Memphis to fighting for touches in Orlando. It takes time. But Bane is a proven commodity. The Magic did not trade him to watch him struggle. They need his shooting to space the floor for Banchero and Wagner. The shot will fall. The role will settle. Whoever drafted him is expecting Memphis Bane. They're getting adjustment period Bane right now. That gap is your opportunity. He's been traded in a Yahoo League in a 2-for-1 deal for Dillon Brooks and Mathurin.
Every time that man's been on the floor.
Great job tonight by Naquan. Outstanding job. What a big shot by Vucevic.
You know things are bad in Chicago when Nikola Vucevic calls his own team soft after beating the 1-15 Wizards. That actually happened. The Bulls won, and their starting center still felt the need to air out the locker room. The Chicago Sun-Times ran the headline, "Time to trade Nikola Vucevic." He's 35 in a contract year, and the Bulls are 12-15, treading water in the middle of nowhere. Not bad enough to commit to the tank, but not good enough to matter either. Is this finally the year that Chicago actually trades him? Probably not, but the vibes are terrible regardless. Vooch finished 35th overall last season. Right now, he's 67th, and over the last 2 weeks, he dipped to 78th. He's bounced back with 2 strong games, one against Cleveland, but the damage to his perception is done. And Vooch is a known quantity. He's going to give you points, boards, threes, and solid percentages. The Bulls being a mess doesn't change what he does on the court. Whoever owns him is watching the dysfunction and wondering if it's time to get off the ride. That frustration is your opportunity. Buy the player, not the situation. Nikola has traded in Yahoo Leagues for one-on-one trades for Nick Claxton, Norman Powell, DeMar DeRozan, and Kobe White.
White takes some air out of the basketball. White inside. He'll bang and score.
White was on our Buy Low segment last week. Good news, he's starting to turn things around. Better news, the window is still open. White finished 64th overall last season. Right now, he's sitting at 129th, but he's only played 11 games. Over the last 2 weeks, he ranked 131st. But zoom in on the last 7 days, and he's climbed to 59th. The arrow is pointing up. His three-point shooting has been the issue. 28.6% from deep compared to 37% last year. But the last few games have been encouraging. 25 against Cleveland, back-to-back 20-point games before that. He's finding his rhythm. The Bulls are the Bulls, 12-15 and going nowhere fast. But that's actually fine for Kobe's fantasy value. He's getting his shots and the talent is obvious. A guy who put up top 65 value last season does not forget how to play basketball. If you tried to buy him last week and got rejected, try again. If you did not make an offer, now is your chance. The owner has watched him struggle all season, and one good week is not enough to erase that frustration. Buy before the price goes back up. Kobe has been traded in Yahoo Leagues in one-on-one deals for RJ Barrett and Santi Aldama. And that's our 10 buy low targets for the week. Send those offers, be aggressive but reasonable, and here's to hoping you find an accepted trade under the tree on Christmas morning. See you next time.